and welcome to The Content Bite, a podcast for freelancers who use their words to make money. I'm Rachel Smith, a freelance journalist, copywriter, and content producer. I'm also the founder of Rachel's List, a jobs board and community for Australian writers and other creatives.
And I'm Lynne Testoni. I'm a journalist and a content writer as well. Rachel and I are your weekly co-hosts, and every week we're bringing you all kinds of tips, tricks, and some fabulous guests to help you make the most of your freelance business. This podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Rounded, easy accounting and invoicing software made just for Australian freelancers and sole traders. It's everything you need to make freelancing easier. Find out more at rounded.com.au.
Also, if you're a gold member of Rachel's List, Rounded is giving you 20% off an annual subscription plan. Upgrade to gold membership for all the details. Hi, Lynne. How are you going? Are you super relaxed in the family beach house?
I am super relaxed. This is nice. This is when I really love being a freelancer. We're having work done on our house, so we've just taken ourselves to the South Coast for a few days to escape the dust. I can still work down here. Would you believe the NBN's down here? But the air is clean and there are no builders under my feet. It's bliss.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm actually away as well. I'm in the Blue Mountains, just in a little cabin for a couple of days, but it's just gorgeous. And we've got a roaring fire and gorgeous views and stuff. So I'm really enjoying that as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's so lovely, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. So we're just doing a short episode today. One with just the two of us offering some easy, actionable tips, because that's what we're about, isn't it?
Yes.
And this one's all about the must-have templates you need when you're starting out as a new freelancer.
Yes, particularly if you're starting out as a copywriter or a content specialist, or you're a journalist moving into that kind of sphere.
Yeah, because it's good to have all those little things on hand, isn't it?
Yeah, I think having the right templates that you need is something that can take some time to get your head around. So hopefully we'll save some listeners out there some time. They can benefit from our trial and error. Most of the templates we're going to mention, they're available either in the toolkit at Rachel's List, or if we don't have them, we'll tell you other websites where you can grab them, and we'll put all those links in the show notes.
All right. So what's the first one that you think copywriters or content writers need?
So the first one we're going to mention is a rate card. And I think it's really good to get an understanding of what you want to charge before you start quoting and invoicing. And just having a basic rate card with your rates up on the wall can really save you that time. And so you're not scrabbling around thinking, how do I cost this? And if you're not sure what to charge, you can use our free pay rates report to figure out your rates. And you don't have to publish your rates card or give it to clients, but you definitely need that, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. One of my mistakes when I started off is that I used the sort of rate card that I did when I was internal, like freelance subbing, which doesn't include things like super or all the other costs with the business. So I think it took me a while, but I now have what I call my internal hourly rate. And this is what I use when I start quoting on jobs. I sort of look at how long I think a job will take me and multiply it by that hourly rate, and it goes from there. I think the hardest thing is estimating how long a project will take, but that gets easier over time, and we all learn from experience. What about you?
Yep, I do the same thing. I modify my rate card every year, and it's not typically something I give to clients, although it has got packages and things like that on there. So it can be good for a client that says, well, I want blog posts and I need a newsletter and I need social media and I need you to modify the images for my blog posts and that sort of thing. So I package that up for them in sort of a bundle. And that's where a rate card can be really useful, because they can see exactly which bundle they need. And, you know, it's sort of like a bit of an upselling thing as well. But I think where rate cards can get tricky is you have existing clients on one rate and you're trying to raise your rate. And in those cases, you should have two rate cards to refer to, because you're trying to get everyone on the same rate, but there can be a gap between doing that. So, it's a template that you need for sure, whether you create your own or buy one and modify it.
Yeah. No, I think it's good. And sometimes I get it all down to the hourly rate, because I think one of the things is that we do more and more bits and pieces. You know, we talked about how we're a bit of like slashies, as we said. So sometimes I don't just write anymore. I often do scripts for video, or I might do some social media. I'm actually doing a podcast now. So I have to think about, it's really hard if you just get a word rate or something. You've got to think about how much time everything will take.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the next thing I think you need, and this sort of follows on from the rate card, the next thing you need is like a briefing form. I have one, and it's been great, especially for new clients, because you need to understand what they need and what their expectations are. It should have things like, is the audience for the content or the market, what action they want from it, whether they want sales or raising awareness, that sort of stuff. Any of their products you got to mention, and where the content is going to live, like if it's going to be a print or online or whatever, outdoor. My briefing form is adapted from a template I downloaded from Kate Toon's website a long time ago. Somebody recommended it. But I think you have one in your toolkit as well, don't you?
Yep, absolutely. And I agree. I think this template, if you have nothing else, is just so important because it can save you so much time. And my briefing template, it's funny, I think that copywriters generally put theirs together over the years and tweak it as they see what questions are needed with clients. And that's what I did. I read a few blog posts, including one from John Asperian, which really made me think about my client brief template and what questions I was asking. I honed over many years. That template is now available in the toolkit. And the reason I think it's important is because it makes a client sit down and really think about their project, and their competitors, the intent of their content, as you were saying, and their budget.
Yes.
And I think when you're starting out, budget is especially one of the hardest things to discuss with clients. And if you're not used to talking about money and you're not really sure about what you're charging or you're feeling nervous about that, you really can agonize over how to phrase those questions. And sometimes clients will say they don't know and try and put the ball back in your court. So a briefing form sort of removes you from the process and it motivates the client to give you some kind of figure or range for the project. And you know instantly whether that project is a good fit for you. I also think that some clients who don't want to fill it out because they're not writers and they just kind of need a bit of help, they might want to go through it with you and you fill it out while you're on the phone with them. And that's fine.
I've done that.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. It's really good to just have a record at the start of the project to refer to. So definitely client brief template or form or something like that.
Yeah, one of my corporate clients has their own briefing form, which is great. And all the business units use it and that works well for them. So I just send it to them. I say, this is what this division uses. And then they like it because it seems official. That works quite well. And it's sort of adapted for their use, which works really well.
Yeah.
So I guess the next template you need is a quote. And that sort of follows on from that briefing form and your rates and everything. I have two types of quotes. One is just from my accounting package, which I use for existing clients. And that might be when somebody sends me a text and say, can you write a blog post on Blur, or we're thinking about doing this. And it might be something I've already done before for them. And I send it to them and they just approve it. There's even a provision for them to approve it in the accounting package. And then it can just be converted to an invoice with one click. And that's great because I've already got a record. We're all clear what they've agreed. And some of my larger corporate clients, they use those quotes to get purchase orders. So that's official and it makes it easier from an admin perspective.
Yep.
So that's the easy quote. The second type of quote I use is what I call a quote and scope of work. And that's a longer Word document. And then I export it into a PDF that I've developed over the years that I've been freelancing. And I use this for new clients. And it has all my standard inclusions, like how many revisions, the full scope of work. I often put the brief in there. And that's important just to reiterate that we're all on the same page. And it's really good if there's a lot of moving parts in it. And I did a demonstration of this document when I did that quoting master class for you. And I think you can still get that, haven't I? Because I remember going through it line by line.
Yes, that was really helpful, actually. That will put that link in the show notes. The show notes will be basically packed with a million links. So everything we're talking about, if you listen to the podcast in the Apple app, it'll all appear in there.
So what sort of quotes do you use?
Yeah, well, because I use Rounded, it does the similar thing that you were mentioning. So you write the quote in Rounded and the client gets the quote. And if they agree with the scope and everything, they can just click a button and it does turn it to an invoice. And it's so useful having that feature. If you don't want to have an accounting package, you're not at that sort of pay level where you can justify the cost. You could just have a quoting form, a really simple quoting form. And then I agree with you. Like if it's a bigger project or there's lots of moving parts, you do need to formalize it in some kind of contract. We've got a statement of work contract and a few other contracts at Rachel's list, and that they set out all the parameters of the project, and they've got instructions on where to put things, and you can put your logo in them and that sort of thing. And I really recommend that so that you cover your butt with the scope. Yeah.
Because we all learn these things by
Yeah.
the hard
This is
way.
stuff that you don't know at the beginning, but you kind of learn over the years and you think, oh God, that saves me so much time when you do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And of course, you need an invoicing template. That's probably follows on. It's sort of, it's all in a nice little order this way, isn't it?
We have actually been very organized in our flow.
We have. So my advice is definitely to use an online accounting software package. I mean, I love Rounded, which is great for small businesses. I'm a company, so I use a different one now. And that's better in so many ways. And it usually includes a quoting template, as we said, as well as providing the invoice. It helps you track them. So you usually know when they're opened by the client, always useful, and they can be connected to your bank account so you can reconcile it all and know which ones are paid and which ones are outstanding. I think that's really important. Of course, if you're starting out, as you said, you might not want to invest in software straight away. So I think you have a template.
We've got like a 4-pack invoicing template. So you can choose the template that you most like, and they were designed by a graphic designer. So they're quite beautiful.
Oh, that's good. You do need certain details on your invoice to make it legal. And this is really important, particularly, may not be so important if you're doing it for small businesses, but it's got to have certain words. It's got to have things like your ABN. The ATO, the Australian Tax Office, actually has a guide on their website on what they need to include. I actually think they might even have some templates as well. And they tell you. So if you're not sure or you're just doing the occasional invoice, go to the ATO because they're quite good with that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. Okay, so the last template that we want to recommend, especially copywriters or content writers. So if you're doing digital writing, you're writing website copy that has links and things like that, you really need a copy deck template, and we use the same one.
We do. Maybe you should explain what a copy deck is.
Yeah, so I had one and mine was super basic. So you basically, when you're writing, say, a website copy and you want to link to different parts of the website, how do you include those links? Like, how do you make it flow, and how do you put all the metadata in and the H1s, H2s and things like that the developer might need as a guideline for putting the copy in, but also helping the client read the copy without getting distracted, I suppose, by all those little tags and things like that. And mine was one that I used for years, and then I quite by accident stumbled on Belinda Weaver's copy deck template, which I think is something like $27 US. Might be about $30 or $40.
Something like that.
Oh my goodness. It's brilliant. And I made Lynne buy it because she needed one as well. And we both used it. And it's really cleverly laid out. It's actually got a full preamble on how to use it for the client, and you can take out bits that you don't need. It's brilliant. So if you're doing a lot of digital copy or a lot of website copy, we both love that one, and we'll link to that one as well.
It was so good. After you raved about it, I took a look and I just downloaded it. It's so good. And I had just finished a large website project as well, and I think it was really good. I know that Kate Toon has a template as well.
She does,
but I haven't checked that one out. But Belinda's is fantastic, and I think there's quite a few out there. But I know when I looked online for templates, it's hard to know which ones. There's a lot of them out there, but it's hard to know which one are the best. But Belinda's is awesome. Really
it's good as well because it's got spaces for keywords. So if you're doing the keyword research as well, and you're doing the metadata, and you want to have, there's even places where you can put a note for the client saying the reason I've chosen this keyword or the reason that we're taking this angle with the copy is XYZ. So it makes you look uber professional, and and it just lays it out in a template that is really easy to use. So I retired my copy deck and now I'm using Belinda. But I think that's it for this week. That's all our templates that we think that you need when you're starting out, or even if you are not starting out and you realize that you don't have any and You want to save time and have better systems. So yeah, thanks for listening. We'll put the links in.
We'll put the links to all the templates into the show notes, and plus a link to Rounded, because they're not only our sponsor, but it's a great invoicing quoting system if you're looking for accounting software. And it's just made for Australian freelancers and sole traders. So take a look at rounded.com.au. Thank
you, everybody. We will be back next week with a guest.
With an amazing guest, yeah.
Yes, we will. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.